Honestly, this is a review that I thought I would never be doing. What we're looking at here is the Amiigo fitness tracker. Came in the mail today. And the history behind this was, I first saw the Amiigo about 2 years ago online, saw their slick video. And I was looking for a fitness tracker that was waterproof and could track cycling. And I was also looking for something that would be suitable for kayaking, which is my chosen sport. And I looked at the Amiigo, and at the time I read online a lot of the people who originally backed it on Indiegogo were not very happy because they had backed it and not received their units. So I waited until Amiigo announced pre-orders were beginning, and that was last May. That was May of 2014, or actually I think I signed up with them early 2014 to be alerted when they were ready to accept pre-orders, because I figured pre-orders meant, okay, I'm not really taking the risk of being a backer. I will wait till they have a product that's pretty much ready to go, and then I'll order it. So I ordered May 8th of 2014. And at that time, they were estimating a ship date of July of 2014. And I thought, that's not too bad. That's just a couple months. Not that bad a wait. Ordered it May 8th, 2014. Shortly thereafter, the July shipping estimate turned to late August. And then I think they changed it to late September. And then it became December. Then it became late February with very little communication from the company. And I got very frustrated, wasn't happy with them at all. But today this thing finally arrived after they said, sometime in March that they would be shipping. At the end of February they claimed that they were running a week late due to Chinese New Year, that they would begin shipping, but here we are. It's April 17th, 2015, so almost a year later, just a few weeks short of a year later, and I finally got this in the mail today. So enough of my rant. I'm opening the box. What should be in here is a medium Amiigo band with a gold clasp, and it's actually a pretty sturdy box. You'll note here, kind of interesting, it's from Amiigo, and the return address is Dave Scott. He happens to be the president of Amiigo. So I find it somewhat interesting that they put the president of the company's name in the return address. It doesn't exactly smack of a huge corporation. This should be a medium charcoal Amiigo with a gold clasp and a charging station and a shoe pod. So let's open this guy up. Okay, it's in a box. We see the Amiigo bracelet here. This is the sensor, and people online have been saying that this actually pops out quite easily when you're not wearing it, but should stay in there when you are wearing it, and I can see clearly. You just flex the band a little bit and that guy pops right out of there. But it says Amiigo. Not a bad looking band. That is indeed the gold clasp. I think it'll actually fit on my wrist and not look all that bad. Pretty good looking. This is the shoe pod, or the shoe clip that clips on a shoelace, and this gives you basically 2 points to recognize your exercises in 3 dimensions. And as I mentioned, I was looking for something that was waterproof because I kayak, something that was good for tracking cycling because I bicycle a lot, and I didn't want some wristband that was going to get ruined in case it rained. And I wanted something good for weight training because I hit the gym quite a bit. Online, people complain that when you do this clasp, and I hope this is in the camera shot, that it pops off people's wrists and that it doesn't really fasten securely. This device, it's almost like, if you're a man, that it's almost like cufflinks, where you put that through the holes there and then pop it through the holes in the band. And it's got a wider part at the very base of it, and that's supposed to hold it securely. A lot of people online have complained that that pops off, so they've been using O-rings or something called a fit belt for the Fitbit. But essentially, and I happen to have an O-ring here, an O-ring that you can slide on, so once you have this guy around your wrist, you can put an O-ring or a band, and I see now my O-ring is too big, but something to clasp around that to keep it from accidentally popping off. So that's the Amiigo band, and here we have hopefully the charging station for it. It's an inductive charging base, so that's the base. And then this is a USB cable. And what's going to happen here is I'm going to plug this into the base. And then this will get plugged in. And then they say, from what I've read, you put this face down on the middle of that pad. And that will charge it. And then separately you need to do the shoe pod upside down thusly. So I've got the Amiigo. It seems to be the right order. It seems to all be here. Next I will charge this guy up and continue on with my review. But I must say at this point that I've been not happy with the company up to this point. They promised something in July initially, and it's dragged on with very little communication from them directly. A lot of speculation on the internet, and there's a fitness band users group on Facebook. That's been where most of the useful information has come from. The Amiigo site itself has been pretty lame and very limited communication from the company. But you know, I expected this last July. Here we are again, April 17th, and I finally got it. So far, I would say the company gets an F as a grade. It's just been terrible. But I'm willing to keep an open mind in terms of the technology itself. And if you look, the only instructions that come with this are a little sticker on the top of the lid here that direct me to an Amiigo/welcome page to get what's going to be a user's manual. I just know from other people. So that's the out-of-the-box opening up, and once I get this thing charged and I start using it, I'll continue on with my review. Okay, so now here I have the charger plugged in, and I don't know if you can really see this on the video or not, but the base has a green light. I'm going to put the Amiigo device, they say, kind of face down in the center. That light turns blue, and allegedly when this thing is fully charged, that will turn... That's weird. It's blue. Now it's cycling between blue and green, but I think when it's completely charged, it will go solid green. Let me spin it. Green, blue, solid blue. So they say a couple hours to fully charge it, and that light should turn green, and then it should be fully charged. So we'll let that go, and then I'll do the foot pod next and see what happens. Okay, the light just turned green on the band portion. I took it out of the band. So I'm going to take that off and put on the shoe pod next. So I brought it here now, and I'm going to put that on the pad. Light changed from green to blue. Green, blue, and when that's fully charged, that should turn to green. And I've got the wristband on here. And if I can do this carefully, I've got a piece of Velcro here that I'm going to slide under this band, wrap around, and then put over the the top there. So I've got a piece of Velcro here that should hopefully now keep that band in place until I get some sort of fit belt or watch belt thingy. But you know what, this doesn't feel too bad, I might just keep it. Okay, so I'm 1 week into the Amiigo, and there's a couple tips I've picked up along the way. First of all, when you put this shoe pod on your shoelace, tape it, or the O-ring I had that I thought would work around the band itself actually fits nicely on this pod. And I've been wearing it like this all week. I just roll that on up there, and that has been keeping that secure, and it actually blends right in, so it doesn't look bad at all. So that O-ring is pretty snug, and that's been keeping that on my shoelace. And another thing I've learned is I have a piece of Velcro right now on the wristband to keep that from accidentally coming unhooked. And when you train activities, as I said at the beginning, this Amiigo sensor pops out of the wristband, and you see it has the Amiigo logo on it. It does matter which way you wear this on your wrist. So if you train it with the Amiigo logo up, you want to make sure you always wear it that way from then on, because if you put it in upside down or the other way, then it seems to have a difficult time recognizing the activities that you've already trained. So make sure you put the logo the same way on your wrist every time, and that should avoid that problem. Okay, so tomorrow will be 3 weeks that I've owned the Amiigo, and I'm going to show you a little bit about what it can do. You see here on the main screen, it will track your steps, your calorie burn rate, your sleep at night. You have to tell it you're going to sleep, and then when you wake up, tell it to end your sleep session. And I've only done that a couple times. This particular night I didn't, so it didn't record anything. But that's important to keep in mind. It does not automatically do that. You have to tell it you're going to sleep, and then tell it when you wake up. More interesting than that, I think, is the workout screen here, where it will track your walking, workout. And you can click in for details. Here it kept track of flies. It will tell you how many you've done, how many reps, the duration, your form once you train it. And it will keep track of all that. One thing I wish it could do is if it had an input for you, tell it how many pounds or kilograms you're lifting, so it could calculate volume, but it doesn't. It just simply counts the reps and doesn't really know how much weight you have on the bar. So that's a little bit of a downer. It's you still, if you're conditioning or strength training, you still need to track your workouts in some other manner, and keep track of the weights you lifted in the total volume, and try to increase reps or add weight each time. This is not going to do that for you automatically, but you know, it's pretty neat. Let's see if I can get to another day here with a different workout. Calorie burn, lots of steps that day. Yeah, I've only had it to the gym a couple times. But what I'm going to do now is admittedly try to train it on the most difficult workout that I can think of, but it's the workout that I happen to be most interested in, and that's kayaking. Okay, so in order to train this thing, you go into your workout screen and scroll down. These are all the things I've programmed in here so far. I want to add a new activity, and then I'm going to give it a name, and it's going to be kayaking, and I'm going to say wing paddle ergometer. Alright, so that's my activity. It will go ahead and add that, And now I'll click train to train this activity, and then it will give me a 30-second period of time where I need to engage in this activity consistently for it to recognize it, and then hopefully it will be trained at that point. So I'm going to get on the erg here. I've got the wristband on, and I've got the foot pad on my shoe here, and earlier I tried to show this but it didn't work so well. I have the shoe clip on a lace, and then I take this O-ring or rubber washer and I just put that right on here. And that's worked for me now for a couple weeks. I haven't lost it yet. It hasn't slipped off, so it seems to be working. So let me take a little cut here, and then I will try training this new activity. To train that activity, it's going to say tap to start. You can't see this, but I'm going to tap to start. It's going to give me a countdown from 10 seconds, and then I'll engage in the activity for 30 seconds, and we'll see if it can learn this. Okay, my new activity here, it fell off. Alright, it wants me to do it for another 30 seconds here. Okay, so I tried training it, and I did about 8 or 9 different 30-second training intervals where the application told me to tap to start, and then you're supposed to do the activity for 30 seconds, and it will analyze it and record it. And this is how you put in custom workouts and activities. It will recognize it when you do it for 30 seconds. In my experience, like for bicep curls, I had to do it twice, maybe 3 times, but other times it got it in the first 30-second training session on the app. So it's been a little bit mixed, but this kayaking session I did now, like I said, I think I did 8 or 10 different trainings of it, and I'm getting errors. And I went onto the Amiigo site, and people are complaining that the server is down, workouts aren't uploading or updating. So, you know, I'm going to end this part of the review right here, and maybe I will do a part 2 once I've got even more experience with this and can give you a more informed opinion. But, you know, thus far it's kind of neat. It tracks steps, calorie burn, can track your sleep. It will give you some bio statistics, and that's not working right now either. It will give you things like resting heart rate and heart rate variability and blood oxygen saturation levels. You know, I'm kind of mixed on it. My experience getting the thing has been just miserable since I ordered it. It took so long, and now, you know, the server's down. It's kind of clunky. You know, the app really, for all the biometric data in terms of useful activities, you know, it keeps track of calorie burn and step counts and, you know, sleep and track reps and workouts, but you know, really it's not all as advanced as they sold it to be. You know, there doesn't seem to be any social aspect to it at all, where you're competing with friends and other people with Amigos. That just doesn't exist. You know, I'll end this portion of the review here. I would say I would give it a C-. the product and the app. It's just not quite there yet, in my opinion. But like I said, I'll do a part 2 after a couple weeks and give it another go and see if it gets any better. I know they've begun to ship a whole lot of Amiigos that people have been waiting for a long time. So maybe those are getting into people's hands and they're overloading the server. So that's a possibility, but then I have to ask myself, if they know they're shipping all of those, shouldn't they be prepared to handle the additional load on their server? So that's it for now. Stay tuned for part 2.